Friends, happy Monday. Is it a happy Monday? It is your friend Lisa Mason Ziegler, and I am so excited to be here because we are getting ready to talk to my friend that I haven't talked to in months. So, friends, tonight on our live, Jennie Love of Love and Fresh Flowers is going to join me here any moment. As soon as she comes on and asks to jump in, I'll invite her in. Anyway, we're going to be talking about, it's a big day for the Gardener's Workshop and Jennie because her course went live today. Farmer-florist school is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what it is and how it is going to just take the pain, much of the pain, away. And you do that through getting knowledge, right? And so I cannot wait to talk to Jennie because y'all, before she gets on here, I will be really honest with you. The course is called Farmer Florist School, The Wedding Process. And I think that really just gives an impression that it's just about the wedding process. But friends, I am here to tell you, not only will it work beautifully for events, but it's the business part of weddings. This is not a design course at all. It is the behind the scenes, how you price, how you handle clients, how you find clients. I can't wait for us to talk about it. When this course was recorded, it was actually recorded here upstairs in our studio, and I actually sat on the steps right outside of the office while Suzanne and Jennie were inside recording. And I'm telling you, friends, did you know that, oh, here she comes. I have to stop talking about her. Did you know that planning is included with this? She has an incredible amount of social media in here, which we're going to talk about all that stuff. Oh, here she comes.
Hello.
Hey, I was just telling them that we haven't talked in so long. I feel like it's been years since we've been together.
I know it has been way too long. I was actually just really excited to get on and talk to you, Lisa. I mean, it's great. Everybody else is here,
It's true. And I was just telling them, you've heard this story a million times probably of how I sat outside the door of you and Suzanne recording this course, listening. And first off, y'all have to know that I have never done a wedding. I never thought of doing a wedding. I never would even think about it or talk to anybody. I'm like not the wedding person. I was the person that grew everything. After listening to Jennie's course, I actually thought to myself, I could do that, maybe. So I just want to share with everybody that this is perhaps such a deep dive, instructive business course that is for anybody in the flower business, Jennie. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, there's crop planning, there's marketing, there's contracts, there's pricing equations. So because I'll stop talking about it. So welcome, long time no see,
I,
girlfriend. Actually, we're like two sisters that got separated at birth, even though I've got about 20 years on her.
well, we're sisters at heart and via stems. I always like to say sisters and stems.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. I
So
have to show
friends,
you though. I
oh,
wanted to bring my counter star over.
oh my
I just want
God.
to show this amazing dahlia to everybody because it's one of my favorites for weddings. So I'm gonna see if I can. Can you see how beautiful
Yes.
that is? And it's massive, so it's as big as my head.
Oh,
This is Sierra Glow, and she's a phenomenal producer, big giant dinner plate that grows on very, very sturdy stems. And it's just such a great color for autumn weddings. And when you're doing
yes.
big installation pieces, which you often get asked to do as a wedding florist, you
Right.
need a big old flower to take up the space. And so I just wanted to come on and show her because I just picked her and she's so pretty. She's
She
one of my
is. I mean,
favorites.
that color, it's almost like it's blush pink
Yeah.
with a little, it looks, oh my goodness, that is pretty
And
beautiful. So,
it actually is like literally glows. That's why it's called Sierra Glow. So in the sunlight, it has like sparkles in the petals. It's kind of magical. It's really phenomenal. So that's Sierra Glow for anybody who didn't get the
so
name.
yeah, they're asking about the name. And so, friends, let me just say this. If you have questions for Jennie about what's in the course or questions for me about how the course works or whatever, just put it in a little bubble with the question mark down at the bottom of your screen. And that way we won't lose track of it as the names just keep feeding up.
Rolling on.
So Jenny, first off, I want to just say I'm really thrilled that your course enrollment is open. I was just talking a couple of weeks ago on a live, I just got on one of my tangents, and there's just so much valuable information in there. But I think we really ought to start with, because not everybody even knows, what is a farmer florist?
Well, that's a great question because it's something that has probably always been around, but wasn't really a term until I'd say around 2009. I started using it on my very new baby Instagram account back then. And no, it was a hashtag I started, and then it kind of picked up steam. And I did it because one time somebody asked me like, "Well, what do you do?" And I was like, "Well, I'm a flower farmer, but I'm also like a wedding florist." And I kind of do like both equally. And I was like, well, I'm like a farmer florist. I guess I'm a farmer florist. That's like, and then it just seemed to stick. But basically, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Like, I'm a full-time flower farmer, and I'm also a full-time wedding florist, or just florist in general. And it's not like you have to do it full time, but when people say that, they mean that they are both a flower farmer but also really tackling design work, like intentionally, the same way a florist would do design. So it's not necessarily the same as a flower farmer that goes to, say, a farmer's market and takes some market bouquets. That's like a really phenomenal business model, but you're not acting as a florist per
Right.
se. I'm talking more like vase arrangements, boutonnieres, corsages, bridal bouquets, that kind of thing. So
And
yeah.
And so I think we ought to also add here, first off, so Jenny's farm name is Love and Fresh Flowers, and you should definitely follow her social media because she is a phenomenal flower arranger. There's definitely a style, and Jenny, it is so true. You don't post very much, but when you
Not
post,
anymore.
you don't really. But when I'm
Yeah.
scrolling, just
Yeah.
flipping through, I know immediately when
Yeah.
it's one of your designs
Yeah.
because there's
Oh,
just no question. They're just absolutely beautiful. And I think a big part of that is that it's locally grown stuff.
well,
So,
it's all the stuff I grow myself too. Like I think it's great to buy from other farms, and I absolutely support that idea. But for whatever reason, I'm a crazy psycho person that decided that I wanted to grow every single stem myself in my designs. So I think there's something about that close kinship with the flowers where I've already been nurturing them and stewarding them for months and months and months. And by the time they get in my hand as a designer, I have such a connection with them. And I
right.
always say the flowers just do the magic themselves. I'm just a grateful conduit for them.
But, I think that's so true, Jenny, because, when I'm talking about cool flowers, one of the things that I talk about is that I didn't make up this concept. Our grandmas and
Oh,
great grandmothers did
yeah.
this. And why did they do it? Because everybody had a garden. They were
Mm-hmm.
so connected
Mm-hmm.
to the seasons
Mm-hmm.
and to everything. I mean, Steve's grandma, I can remember thinking in my smarty pants mind when his family would say, yeah, Grandma Ziegler goes out and plants bush peas on the high side of the garden
Yeah.
at Christmas. And I'm thinking, are you nuts? Well, guess what? Guess what I do now? Plant
Exact same.
peas on the high side of the garden, excellent drainage.
Right.
And so, yeah, so they were so in touch with the
Yeah.
gardens and the season. It brings a whole nother level. So,
It does.
let's just jump off and say, so the name of the course that Jenny has authored is called Farmer Florist School Online: The Wedding Process. And as I've lamented about earlier here, it's not just for people looking to do weddings. There is so much business depth information in here that will relieve such pain points for
Yeah.
people.
And if I
Um,
could jump in real quickly, so about that, because just earlier you said that I don't post on Instagram much anymore, and that's a very
mhm,
intentional choice. And I'll just drop a little bit of like some behind the scenes knowledge from the course here. Like Instagram doesn't get you sales. I mean, I think pretty much everybody knows that by now, but in case you didn't know that, the Instagrams does not get you sales. So it's a lot of wasted marketing energy can go into Instagram. But in the course, what is really valuable and transferable to any kind of flower business, or really any business, period, is I talk about using search engine optimization and
yes.
Google and Pinterest and all these other opportunities for getting in front of an audience, a brand new audience that doesn't have to be your follower. Instead, you actually get organic searches and people who are actually motivated to buy something from you instead of just like
Right.
your photo. So Instagram's kind of a waste of time for marketing anymore. And that's one reason I'm not doing it much. But I come here to talk to people I like you. So
Yeah, and I've just meant to say that it's like your designs are such a standout. And
Mhm.
so people should follow you on whatever platform. And of course, Jenny's also the host of the No Till Flowers podcast, and you can connect with her there. So the Gardener's Workshop, produced her Farmer Florist online course. And as of today, it is now open for enrollment. So let's just talk about that a little bit, Jenny. So what happens now is the courses are on demand. And what that means, I mean, when we're doing course talk, all of us that know what that means know. Not everybody else. What this means, friends, is that you can go in and purchase her course right now and you have immediate access to the entire course. So that means, and the courses are all keyword searchable,
Yeah,
which means
that's
you can,
amazing.
it is pretty dadgum amazing. And I
Yeah.
just can't even tell you how much I use that. You think you would know what's in your own course, not. Anyway, so Jenny's course, we're going to talk about what's in it here in just a moment, is open for enrollment. You can find it at thegardenersworkshop.com. You can find it in my profile. I'm sure that you can find your way to it. And you really need to go read the sales page, because we have really dove in and just really tried to mine the gems and put it on that page. And I think it's really helpful because people, none of us are readers
No.
anymore. And it's short sentences, y'all. There's not
Yeah.
much text, but just go over there and visit it. So, Jenny, let's talk about it. 6 classes, and each class is made up of a bunch of bite-sized little sessions. There's actually 17 hours total of video broken into 66 sessions, 27 printouts, and more. So let's just talk about what the 6 class topics are and kind of walk us through this business course of what they would learn in there.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll start by saying when you put the numbers out there, it sounds really intimidating
Mm-hmm.
to like commit to all of that. But for those listening who, or those on the live here who have listened to my podcast, it's basically you just put your earbuds in and you listen to the course. Like, yeah, you'll go back and you will refer to the handouts and stuff as well. But if you like just listening to a podcast, you can absolutely just treat this course like a podcast, and then you
Exactly.
refer back to the other elements. So I don't want people to be like, oh my God, I don't have 17 hours to sit down. You crazy women, what's wrong with you? So for what it's worth, you can totally just listen to it and garner a ton of information from it.
It
So
it's really deep, and you have lifetime unlimited access. So you can definitely listen at your own pace. Go in and pick and choose, cherry pick what you want to listen to. And for sure, you can listen. There's an app that goes with the course that allows you to listen to it like it's a podcast. And that's a great point, Jenny. That's the way that I listen to almost all my courses. It
I
really,
mean,
and
that's time.
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to sit in the computer, but it's so easy if you listen. But anyway, back to the question about what is in the course. I mean, I start out in the beginning, in the very first session, just really laying out sort of what it takes to be a farmer florist, particularly a wedding florist. And then really kind of try to help students understand if they have what it takes. And that's a very intentional decision that I put right at the beginning of the class, because I am not a what do they call, like, snake oil salesman. I don't give
Right.
a crap about taking anybody's money. I'm gonna be out, like, I only genuinely want to help people, and I don't want anybody to spend all the time going through the course and then end up just being like, whoa, I really, like, no, this is a terrible
Right.
idea. So I try to go right from the beginning and give a really clear picture of what it takes, what the work's like, what your personality kind of needs to be like. And that's a good place to start. So even if you aren't sure about this, you can sign up for the course, and then Lisa and her team have this wonderful money back guarantee. If you
Yeah.
decide you take that first session, you're like, nope, I'm out. you can always bail, and that's fine. But if you say, wow, this feels like something I really want to do, I love this, the energy here is feeling really on point with what I'm trying to do for myself, then from there we dive into, oh my gosh, so much stuff. I can't even remember
Right.
the
It's
sequence at
growing and
all.
sourcing. It's growing and
Right.
sourcing
Yeah.
flowers.
Yeah, so it's like that's the farmer part of it where we go really deep into crop planning, and I give you sources for things that you can't grow yourself, even things like hard goods and stuff like that. That part of it is definitely really fairly specific to farmers, but it's also really helpful if you're just a florist to hear how farmers think. I think
Mm-hmm.
could be hugely helpful if you're trying to connect with local farms and understand how you could ask them
Right.
to grow things for you, like to know how they crop plan, to understand the length of time it takes to crop plan, and the energy that goes into crop planning would be incredibly valuable. And then from there we go into I know it. I don't know the sequence, but contracts and proposals is a huge piece of the puzzle in this
Yes.
course. Um, we do a whole shebang on pricing, and I think any florist, anybody selling flowers, whether you're even doing it as a florist or you're just a farmer, anybody who puts a price tag on flowers at any point as a professional should really understand the industry standard pricing model. And
Yeah.
so we go really deep into that. It's not something I made up. I'm just passing along the wonderful information that's been shared with me, and that is how you become actually profitable at this. There's so many people that are in this business, whether it's as farmers florists or florists, that are doing it because they love flowers, but they're not making money. And you can
Right.
only do that for so long. It breaks my heart to see how many people are like just struggling at this.
And
So I'm
so,
to
Jen,
stop.
excuse me, but
Yeah,
and I hear so many people talking about that. It's like
yeah,
that's the way they think it is because
yeah.
they feel like because they're doing something they
Mm-hmm.
love, they shouldn't
Should
be
make.
able to make a
Yeah.
profit. And I think flower farmers think that same way. And
Well,
it's
I
like,
think farmers carry around this like inevitable guilt for like
yeah,
generations about
yes,
not they shouldn't have money. I don't know where that came from. For the record, I'm a fifth generation farmer. I'm talking about my own family here. So for some reason, you're not allowed to have money as a farmer. That is absolute bullcrap. I'm here to say
yeah,
being wealthy as a farmer should be absolutely okay. And wealth is not a dirty, greedy word. It's just, I mean, what are we working this hard for if we're not going to have something to feel like we have a safety net, feel like eventually we
right.
could do something else, all of those things. So that's a whole nother passionate topic for
Yeah,
me.
and so I do want to say that I didn't mention yet that if you want to see a peek inside of Jenny's course, if you type in the comments love, you will get in your DMs a video peek into it's the one, the pros of wedding work. So you can actually see inside the course a little bit. Sorry, I should have said that sooner. But all you have to do is type in the comments love and it'll show up in your DMs and you can find it there. All right, Jenny. So what about finding clients? That's one of them.
Yeah, the marketing piece of things, really at the end of the day, whatever business you're in, you have to be good at marketing. You cannot just be a farmer.
Right.
I'm here to tell you, you cannot just be a farmer unless maybe you want to join a wholesale collective and the collective does the marketing for you. Then you can just
Right.
be a farmer. But if you are running an independent business that has to go out and find customers, you're always going to be hustling. You're going to always be looking for the next sale. And so you really need to know how to find your customers. And yeah, the course goes into great detail of my favorite tools for that. And as I hinted earlier, it has nothing to do with social media. So
Well, it's,
you can walk away.
I mean, I was so impressed with the level of the marketing in there. Jenny was a marketer before she was a farmer,
Yeah.
y'all. There's the
Yeah.
ticket, right? Um, so I wanted to say back when you were talking about how the very first class, and you can do the classes in any order you want. You get all of it at one time, and you can go in and cherry pick what you want to do in what order. But I will tell you in that first class, I tell you the thing that baited me, Jenny, was that you talked about you don't have to say, okay, I'm going to be a farmer florist and I'm going to start out doing full size weddings. you take them through how to price DIY buckets appropriately
Hmm.
and truly, and how to like step up and then maybe just do the personals. You see, are you impressed I even knew that word? I mean,
I am impressed.
but I mean, that is just such that I was so pleased with that first class. That's what made me want to listen to the
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah.
I thought, maybe I can do this. All
Well,
right.
everything I put in this class stems from the fact that when I started, nobody was doing the business model that I do. Like literally nobody. There were a
Right.
couple farmers, flower farmers that I met through the ASCFG who were doing weddings, but they were buying in a lot of their flowers and just sort of like supplemental,
Right.
like hybrid thing going on, which was awesome. And I learned so much from them. And hats my shout out to Robin Hollow up in Rhode Island and some of the others. And I learned a lot that way. But there was nobody trying to be like as uh, committed to just local seasonal stems from their area, from their farm. And so I had to like really learn a lot of hard lessons and kind of make stuff up as I went along. And I just teach this class the way I progressed, where it was first like, oh, somebody asked me for DIY flowers. Well, what does that look like? How do we do that? And then the next thing is somebody's asking me for just the personal flowers, and then eventually leap into this giant full service thing. And that's like a whole nother, ballpark that you're playing in. But that's why know what I'm trying to say. The stepping stones of the course
Right.
go literally how I went, basically.
And,
Yeah.
and another piece of this, another class is communicating with clients. And I think anybody that has any contact with customers, this is a class which is multiple sessions long that just gives you the confidence to be a good professional business person. Because I will find that people are, because they don't know, they don't
Mm-hmm.
understand what their real role is as a business, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. They just kind of ask people,
Mm-hmm.
the words that I just really just hate to hear from flower farmers. Yeah, I walked into the florist and asked them how much they were paying for this.
Oof.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
That's like broken mirror
Yeah,
stuff.
if you get a really good florist,
Yeah.
maybe like a florist who's a, a nice person,
But
but
talk to
generally
us
no.
about the class on communicating with clients, because I know you have a very set
Yeah.
system for that.
Yeah, I'm all about systemization that takes the stress off of you when you're the person trying to carry all the balls, juggle all the balls in the air, and wear all the hats. So we talk a lot about, systemizing your emails, systemizing your proposals, talking to clients in a very sort of standardized way, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel over and over
Right.
again, and just get to do what you're really good at. So yeah, definitely, that's another part of it.
So we have a question, and we still have a class to talk about. But Heather, Heath, maybe, do you find it tricky switching from farmer to florist mode?
Yeah, that has a lot to do with how I structure my week. Like every week, I kind of have a flow to the work that helps me keep my brain focused, because one of the challenges is, yeah, you'll get pulled in lots of different directions and you can't drop the ball on the wedding side of things, but you also can't drop the ball on the farming side of things if you're relying on your own flowers. So I start my week in farmer modes. And so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday are farmer mode. Wednesday, I'm hybrid, where I'm sort of farmer in the morning, florist in the afternoon. And then we just are full throttle Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm a florist. So it's really about just kind of setting those parameters, understanding your workflow, and then communicating that to the people that work with you and to your customers. So talk about communication. It's important to say, like, this is my workflow, and you will have to wait until I'm in that mode again to
Right.
talk about that subject. So yeah, it helps.
So we haven't even said this. So, but Jennie is in Philadelphia,
Okay.
and she was in Martha Stewart's top 10, featured in New York Times, the original farmer florist. I feel confident saying that,
Yeah.
You're the one that kind of keyed the phrase. And, I want to also say this course has nothing to do with design work.
Yeah.
Although you do give us like your top 10 crops that you have to grow. And I also want to say that Jennie, if anybody wants to guess, first off, if you want a sneak peek of Jennie's course, just type love in the comments and you will get one of the little session videos dropped in your DM box. But Jennie, do you still only grow 10 dahlia varieties?
Ooh, that is a very good question. And yes, but no. So I grow 10 that are overwintered. So I overwinter and perennialize my dahlias. And for all the ins and outs about that, which by the way is a game changer, will make your
Mhm.
farm so much more profitable, regardless of whether you are florist or not. The ins and outs about that are on the No Till Flowers podcast. But so lovely people often share tubers with me that they want me to try. So I have a
Yeah.
hodgepodge of other randos out there. But there's 10 that are there intentionally for wedding design and are our primary 10 dahlias. Yes.
And I will say that a bonus that's being offered within Jennie's class or her course when you purchase it is, what's the name of it, Jennie? Is it Growing Dahlias for Weddings? I think it's a webinar you did for us a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, but it's
Yeah.
about
I
growing
think it's called that,
dahlias.
growing
So
dahlias for
yeah,
weddings. I
it
think
was
so.
pretty
Yeah.
incredible. And that
Yeah.
is, you have access to that through the actual course.
And
So,
just joining Sierra Glow on the
um,
10 list, on the 10 list.
that is a top tenner for sure.
Yeah.
So Jennie, I think the one of the most, I would think, the most frustrating parts of all of this, and the thing that keeps them up at night, is how do you figure out pricing? And I know that that's included in your course. Along, you share your templates of contracts. I mean, I'm telling you, people, there is so much value in this course. The course is $695, and that is a
Yeah.
BB in the Astrodome
It is.
compared to
Yeah.
the return. So
Yeah.
talk to us about how you talk about the pricing model and how you go about all of that.
Yeah. Oh, I think that the first thing that is so useful is that I give people a look at wholesale pricing, which, if you're coming into this course as a flower farmer who has no experience with wholesalers, no experience with truly, the floral industry, the big
Right,
global floral industry, you really have never seen this before. And you don't even understand what the typical florist is paying for their flowers. And so often, flower farmers really underprice their flowers. Just no matter how they're selling them, they're just so underpriced,
right, right.
which is not fair to florists. So for the record, I'm not here just trying to get other people to make more money. I also think the industry needs to play fair. We farmers need to play fair with
Yeah.
florists, the traditional florists. Otherwise, we all go out of business. So I start there by giving a really good look at what the pricing is for traditional wholesale flowers from a big wholesaler. And then from there, we go through this formula, the formula that's tried and true in the industry, which is a markup formula where you mark up your flower, the wholesale price. But there's some other math that goes into it. So there's a whole pricing worksheet that students get, and we talk through it and do samples together. And then we talk about, sort of more of some of the intangibles in terms of pricing that aren't just something you can do on a worksheet, but what about your brand? How are you, sort of positioning your brand? What about your marketplace? What about, all these other things? And that's where I get to put on my marketing hat. I went to school for marketing. I did marketing for 10 years in corporate. And so it's just like kind of fun for me to get really nerdy about that stuff. But I promise it's really applicable and easy to understand. And, if anybody in doubt, you can just take a look at what I've been able to build for myself here at my farm. Flower farming is my full-time job, has been for 15 years. I am not a wealthy person from previous life or anything. I do not have a partner who supports me or is even involved in this business. I am a one-woman band who started with just a little bit of savings and leveraged that savings year after year, where I reinvested in the business. I learned how to price properly. And now I have this amazing farm in Philadelphia and lots of assets, lots of equity, all sorts of great, wonderful things. for a woman, I have to just say, for a woman to own and be the leader of something like that. So I want to see more people do that instead of just struggle.
You
So
know, I think, Jenny, people are, I kudos. I totally agree with everything you just said, and I'm totally in support of that. I think that it all comes back to that farmer that thinks that it should be cheaper because it's local. There's just so many innuendos and myths,
hmm
and we're business people. And when you do the job, you have to charge fair market value. And if you don't know, this is where you're going to learn how to do that. And I think it's so intimidating to people that they're afraid. But friends, I am here to tell you. So this course covers so many areas, whether you want to do weddings and events or not. The marketing, the business, the customer service will be such a huge confidence builder
yeah,
for people. It'll bring them into a new light. They will start next year
yeah,
in a very different place.
yeah,
And we do have several people commenting that they've
yeah.
taken your course and that it was definitely so wonderful.
Okay.
So here's someone has commented, being a one woman band is what scares me the
Yeah,
most about this.
I
But
saw
Jenny
that.
has
But I was
staff.
gonna
She doesn't
say
do it
that.
all.
Well, yeah, I don't do it all. Like, I will say the other part of the course is that I tell you about how you can build a
Yeah.
team and how to tap into freelancers, which is how I do it. It's not like I work 100% alone. I definitely have a team that supports me. So you don't have to be a one woman show. I'm just saying you have to build a business that supports you and your awesome crew, and that's
Right.
what the course is really about. So yeah.
All right. So who this is who I say this school is for. Cut flower farmers, farmers florists, florists, designers, and event planners. Wouldn't you
Hmm.
say?
Yeah, I think I never thought about event planners before, but I think it could be really valuable. I mean,
Oh,
definitely the ins and outs of the pricing and all of that, but yeah, a planner that knows how a farmer thinks about crop planning could be a really like powerhouse because of that. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So I just feel like now we haven't talked about the things like this is being a farmer florist is the highest dollar per stem return on the flowers you grow, correct?
Yes, if you do it right.
Yes. Yes.
it
And
it
Jenny,
isn't
I
if you
think,
waste a lot of time.
yeah, and you give the confidence, and you know what, people, it's like when you know your facts, you can stand up and preach
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I mean, why do you think Jenny and I are such good talkers? Because we do it every day, we believe in it, we know it's the right thing for the world, the earth, the people, and you know what I mean? And we're teacher hearts. And when you learn, you get that way too. You might not want to stand up and talk about it, but you can sure run your business in a very different light, wouldn't you say?
yeah,
So,
definitely.
so the course is open and available for enrollment now, and when you purchase it, you get the entire course immediately in your online library. And as Jenny mentioned, we believe in our courses so much and the quality of the content that's in them that we give a 7-day money back guarantee. If you get the course and you say, this is just not at all what I was thinking that it
Yeah,
was, all you have to do is email us and say, this isn't for me. We're not going to
yeah,
question you. We're going to give you a full refund, no risk to you. And I just say that because I know that $695 is a lot of money, but that is that is maybe a Saturday at the farmer's market if that's what you're doing now, or that's 2 subscriptions. That is a BB, and it's a business expense. My friend Wanda of the Alaskan Peony
oh
Growers
yeah,
who is
well,
taking all of our, she's your student too.
yeah.
She's taking all the courses. She always chimes in on every live and says, and don't forget, it's a business expense.
Exactly,
And bless her heart for that.
exactly.
So
Also, I'll just say that you can't. $695 is not that much if you've been doing weddings. So this is really directed to the people who are already doing.
right.
If you're already doing weddings and you do them, and at the end of the day you're looking at a bank account that doesn't have much money in it, and you're thinking like, how am I working like 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and I still like I'm gonna struggle to pay rent or my mortgage or whatever, or like I'm worried about how I'm gonna get my kids school clothes or whatever. If you have that concern in your mind right now, I mean, I am not a gimmicky person. This feels so gimmicky to say, but it's not. I
It's the
promise.
truth,
You
Jenny.
take the
It's the
course, and
truth.
you will make back all of the money and then have money in your bank account later. So it's an investment. You'll have to make the investment, but in another, like, 6 months, you will be like, wow, that was no big deal. I'm so glad. So yeah, for what it's worth, it will pay
Yeah.
off.
And so if anyone is already one of our students of any of our online courses, that means that you're a member of the TGW family and you would have gotten via email a code that gives you $50 off. So once you join the family, we appreciate that. I mean, most of our students take multiple classes, which is what just really just makes our hearts swell, y'all. Is they don't come in and take one and never come
Yeah.
back. So that really works. So to find the course, go to thegardenersworkshop.com. The online courses are right there at the top menu. Go to the flower schools, and Jenny's right there on the page. And I encourage you to go there and read the page, and just read about what it's about. It has the syllabus which is just the outline of the course, y'all. That's all. It's like the table of contents of the book. Go in and look at all the sessions, and you can watch them at your pace. You got all winter. I think that this is the perfect time of the year to pick
Yeah.
up a course. I just bought a course yesterday.
Oh, very
And yeah,
good.
and so it is, it's just that time of year where maybe you're remembering how frustrated you
Yeah.
are over how
Yeah.
things went this year,
Yeah.
or like Jenny said, your bank account might be empty. Um,
Well, and
but
also
anyways,
for wedding florists or those looking to get into weddings, now is the time when all the inquiries are coming in for next year. It's
yes,
starting to trickle in, and then come the holidays. So after Thanksgiving, we enter what's called engagement season from Thanksgiving until after Valentine's Day. And during that stretch of the window from Thanksgiving to Valentine's Day is when like 80% of wedding inquiries come in.
wow.
So it's a good idea to get ready now.
Yeah, for
Every
real.
flower farmer is going to have somebody ask them to do a wedding. I'm convinced of that at this point. Whether you advertise it or not, somebody is going to ask
Right.
you to do wedding flowers. And so you won't even know how to answer until you have a better idea of what it means to be doing wedding flowers. So you have between now, mid-September, and Thanksgiving to at least get the beginning handle on it. And then through the rest of the winter, you can keep diving into the course so you know how to put the proposal together, so you know what the contract should be, so you know once you actually get somebody signed up, then you're going to have to do the crop planning. What does that look like? So the course will just unfold naturally from here, but you have to get started at some point, basically.
And that's true. So I want to also say that there is a private student community. And I mean, there's no more supportive area than to be with other people, some that have been journeying before you got there, and those that are coming in alongside you for the encouragement, the support, the confidence. It's great to have a place to go to say, wow, look what I did, or look what I got, or I've got a wedding or whatever.
Yeah.
Or boo-hoo, the deer just ate my garden to the ground. I mean, it's just great to have that community, which I feel like in my course, it's like the backbone. I mean, there's just so much support and help going on in there between students. So let me just run down this really quick, and then we'll see if anybody has a question. First off, if you want to have a sneak peek of Jenny's course of one of the sessions, just type love in the comments. Oh my, I just got my first ever wedding request and I'm terrified. There you
There you go,
go.
Hannah.
You
You better
don't
sign
have to be.
up.
Um,
Yeah.
so type in love and you will get it in your DM. So it's a self-paced online learning. You can start anytime from anywhere. If you have internet access, you have access to your course at any time. You have immediate and unlimited lifetime access. There are printable handouts for quick referencing. And Jenny, I don't know if you do this in your course, but I just tell my people at the beginning, I recommend you just go through the whole course and print everything out at once,
Oh
put it in
yeah,
a notebook, and then just write everything down. So she has
yeah,
some great handouts. All the courses have been they've been time stamped. And what that allows is keyword searching. It is a powerful reference tool. Um, you can also, and this is my favorite part, you can speed up and
Oh,
slow down the video.
yeah.
I listen to everything in 2 times speed.
Yes. Amen to
Um,
that. 1.75 if somebody's a fast talker.
yeah, and I mean, it just, you can understand it clearly and you get it back twice as fast, right? And then you can watch and listen on any devices. Jenny was mentioning earlier, you can listen to it like a podcast. Students talk about when they're taking their kids to school or out in the field harvesting or whatever, putting their earbuds in and just listening to it because the course has an app that goes with it. So Jenny, I feel like, we've talked about so many of the pain points that people have. Terrified,
Yeah.
terrified of everything, not having the flowers, not knowing how much to charge. I'm tired of them calling me every day because you haven't set any perimeters,
Mm-hmm.
right, of how that all goes. Because I am 100% with you being a professional business person before I was a flower farmer. It's like you come out of the gate with the way it is. You're the business owner and you just state how it is. And believe it or not, 99% of people just fall right into line.
Yeah.
They
Oh
want
yeah, it's
you.
amazing how nobody ever wants to like set policy. Like in your business owner, you're like, oh, I can't say that. The customer's always right. Oh, I don't know. They want to pick up at 5 a.m. Okay, I'll do
Oh,
it. Like you could just be like, no, we're not open until 9 a.m. And then they're like, oh, okay. That's like
for
it.
real. I mean, it's true. So here I reference this class often and rewatch the modules all the time, pick up new things each time. I think that is something that particularly people that haven't maybe taken really rich content courses. I mean, this is information. This is life business changing kind of stuff. And it'll blow your mind. It's going to explode your head when you watch it because you can't take it all in. You're only going to really hear the things that you need help with
Yeah,
today with.
yeah,
But when you come back in 3 months and now you've progressed and you got a new problem, you're going to come back in and say, I didn't even hear that the first time. That happens over and over and over again for me, at least in courses that I take. And this course is this course and the greenhouse hoops with Stephen
oh
Grohl is
yeah,
so
yeah,
dense with information that, I mean, I tell people, go slow,
yeah.
take it in, however best way for you to take it.
Right.
Listen to it in the car every day,
Yeah.
you know?
I
Um,
agree. I agree. And if this course feels too overwhelming for anybody listening, and you're like, "Well, it's a lot of hours or a lot of money or whatever," if you want to get a sense of my teaching style, I also have another smaller on-demand course with the Gardeners Workshop called
oh
"Making
yeah.
Workshops Work for You," and
Yeah.
it's all about as a farmer florist. Another thing you can do as a farmer florist is lead design workshops at your farm, or just any sort of agritourism at your farm. And that is the second way that I've made my business so successful and profitable, is by doing workshops. And so there's this much smaller on-demand class that you could take through the Gardener's Workshop if you want to do that first and decide
That's a
if you like what I have
good
to
point,
say.
Jenny. It's a good point. And Jenny does in that workshop what she does in her school. She says, hey, you're not a comfortable arranger. People just want to come to flower farms. Here is how you can create an experience for people. And you charge money. How much should you charge? Where do you
Right,
find the
right.
customers? What do you have to do? You know what I mean? What's the ways to be a pro? So yeah, that is a really great idea. And I know that workshops were always a huge profitable
Yeah,
proposition for us.
yeah,
And I know they are for you.
yeah.
Um, so, friends, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, remember that you can type love in the comments and we will drop in your DM a video of one of the sessions just for you to get a peek and an idea. And I just encourage you. And there's a webinar bonus that comes with the course currently that is growing dahlias for weddings. She'll totally change the way that you think about growing
Yeah.
dahlias. And so, Jenny, is there anything else you want to add, except that we're talking again when are we talking again?
Oh,
Wednesday at six
Wednesday night,
o'clock.
doing another YouTube thing or something,
Yeah,
right?
we're on YouTube and Facebook at 6 p.m. So it'll be posted across all the social medias. And yeah. So
Yeah,
because I just think that people don't understand. And again, I want to say this is not a design course.
yeah.
This is a
No, I'm
business,
not teaching you how to make a bouquet in this
right,
class. Um, I teach that in person. I'm very adamant about teaching that in
right,
person because I think when you're taught actual design, you need to have your hands on flowers and your
right.
instructor in the space with you. But no, this class is just really I dumped my whole heart and my whole brain into it in the capacity of it's what I wish I had had when I started out 15 years ago. And it encompasses 15 years of being a farmer florist doing weddings. I've done over 800 weddings at this point of all sorts of scales from just like, an elopement bouquet and boutonniere to $30,000, $40,000 floral budgets for one wedding, one wedding that big, flower wise. So I've kind of done it all. And I don't say that in an egotistical way. I just like I've kind of done and seen it all, and so I try really hard to put as much of that into the course while still making it very digestible, still breaking down big things into
Right.
small steps, so you don't feel overwhelmed. I think if I have any talent as a teacher, it is making things that are complex simple
Right.
and then making people feel like they understand, okay, this step, now this step, now this step, now that step, and putting it together.
And if you guys would please help us spread the word, share this broadcast, and if you're a student, claim her. Put out there, I've taken Jennie Love's class. Ask
Uh,
me about it. Our students love to blow the horn for us. I mean, they're
yeah.
just so grateful for the changes it's made for them. And so, Jennie, I guess we're going to get to talk again on
Okay.
Wednesday. So that'll be
Yeah.
awesome.
No, I'm
Yeah.
excited. Yeah, please come then too, everybody. And thank you to all the students that did shout out
Yes.
during this live. I know each one of you. I didn't want to like start shouting names randomly, but I really, really appreciate everything that you guys have said. And my students just really make me feel empowered and honored to keep going on my own journey, which is, part of why I love teaching is to feel that connection too. So thank you guys.
All right, so folks, you can find the course at thegardenersworkshop.com. Enrollment is open. The course is $695. You have immediate access to it all. So check it out, and we'll be back on Wednesday on YouTube and Facebook at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And bring your questions, bring your friends. Please spread the word, especially, I mean, it's just a great opportunity to really get your business in line.
Yeah.
All right, Jennie, until we meet again,
All
friend.
right.
See
Bye,
you Wednesday.
guys.
Ciao.
Bye.